Humanity is going through difficult moments like never before. We have lost our loved ones with a glimpse of an eye like never before. Our lives have been affected dramatically like never before. Our relationship with our Creator will never be the same like never before. Our priorities in life are dictated to us like never before. Our freedom is no longer in our hands like never before. And life will never be the same after these difficult moments. Join our live Ramadan show like never before with Hatim Al-Abdissalam and engineer Muhammad Farooq on Oman FM, your nation station, every Saturday till Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. to discuss our lives like never before. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Master of the Day of Judgment, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to your program Never Before with me, your host Hatim Abdissalam, and joining me is my dear brother Engineer Muhammad Farooq. Assalamu alaikum Muhammad.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. What about you, Hatim?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Excellent.
I see you very energetic today. We're going to talk about something that is very dear to your heart.
Yeah.
And you love it so much, so the floor is all yours today. I'm gonna throw everything on you today, and let's see how it goes, inshallah.
Well, I might love it more, but you use it more, so we're equal.
Today, Muhammad, we are about to talk about technology and beyond.
Exactly, yes.
So, what has technology added to our life, Muhammad?
Exactly.
Where do we start?
Well, before we get into it, just a reminder for myself and others that as we're going through the best 10 nights of the year in Ramadan, there's chapter 97 verse 3 to 5 in Quran, the book for the spiritual book for the whole humanity, where God Almighty said, the night of decree is better than 1,000 months. The angels and the spirit descend therein by permission of their Lord. For every matter peace it is until the emergence of dawn.
Yes.
So if we translate where it's talking about 1,000 months, that comes to more than 83 years.
Yes.
Not many of us get to live that long, and even if we do, we cannot dedicate all that time for structured ritual worship. So this is an amazing time, and we should not miss it out. Also, all these episodes of Never Before are uploaded as videos and posted on Facebook. So for those of us who are interested to share and watch these later on, they can head out to Life As It Is on Facebook and find all our content over there. Now jumping into the main thing of technology.
Yes, the main cake.
Exactly. So when we talk about technology, we being in 2020, generally the internet comes to mind.
Yes.
Or mobile phone comes to mind as a device.
Or the gadgets.
Yeah. Or the fancy smart watches and the wearables and what have you. And there's people out there who are biohacking themselves with technology. It's
even in this current condition, Muhammad, which is the pandemic, you can see the government has imposed the smart wrist bands, which detects the people who are infected by the COVID-19, and it tracks them down where they go, and
exactly.
So it keeps them intact.
Right. So what we used to do to animals, now we have become animals.
Yeah.
And but technology is actually quite bigger than this myopic view that a lot of us carry. It includes the internet, that's fine, and the phone, yes. but these are merely channels of communication. One is the network, and the other one is the means that takes us to that network. So we got tablets and TVs and phones, and for those of us who remember fax machines. And,
Yes.
And but there's the movies and the video games, and anything that can be digitized, ebooks, so voice, video, data. More and more things are being digitized and becoming part of this technological landscape. So in a broader definition, we can, let's say, categorize technology into communication and computing.
Yes.
And as far as the impact is concerned, so we can look at people, how it's impacting people. And that's what we would try to accomplish during this show, that instead of talking about like 3G and 4G and 5G and IoT and cloud computing and all these terminologies and acronyms, we would like to look at the non-technical side of technology. How is it impacting us as human beings, as children, as teenagers, as adults, as a society? So 3 main things are how it impacts the people, how it impacts the environment, and how it impacts the society and on a larger scale. Because we see that a lot of us are becoming copy-paste of each other all over the world. And you will notice this when you travel. And for those of us who've been traveling, alhamdulillah, for the larger part of our lives, we'll see that like 10 or 15 years ago, when we used to travel, people will come up to you, talk to you in the buses and the trains and the subways. They'll ask you where you're from.
Yes.
And what language you speak, and things, small talk.
Socialize.
Yeah, socialize. Lately during my travels, I've seen everybody's glued to the screens, and I see most of them are playing games. Few of them are reading books, let's be fair.
Or watching videos.
Or mostly, consuming content, multimedia content. Yeah.
Yes.
So and as we get down further into the show, we'll see how technology is, yes, it's bringing us together, but it's actually isolating us. And there's a lot of research to back these alarming realities, if you want to call them.
What comes to my mind when you talk about technology, Muhammad, is the good old days where we used to sit as a family and go through the family photo albums.
Yeah.
I know now we have digital photos in our mobiles, on the cloud and so on, but I'm really worried when the technology changes. Maybe the devices that are going to be used in the future are not the same as the one we have now, so they're not going to use the same format. So all this content of family moments, pictures, if we don't print them out and put them the old-fashioned way, like albums, so that our kids can see them, they will just disappear in the electronic world.
Yeah, see, data preservation is a whole subject by itself, and I agree with you, because due to lax behavior or carelessness, I have lost a number of external drives, lost as in they gone damaged, to the point you can't even recover the data off of them.
And it's gone.
It's gone.
All those moments.
Exactly. I don't know how much data I've lost on those. And see, we have tough choices. Either we put everything online, where there are security and privacy concerns. Okay, every so often you hear about sites getting hacked, and then their passwords and IDs are available on the dark net for sale, and the other option is keeping everything on your hard drive or external drives,
which has a lifespan,
which can get damaged. So if we look at the mediums that have changed, formats have been pretty much the same, like MP3, MP4, and there's a bunch of others available. But when we look at the mediums like floppy drives,
CDs,
gone, CDs dying.
Gone. Yeah.
We don't even have CD players
on
our laptops anymore.
And how many material we had stored in CDs, Muhammad? Whether they are family videos and this, and they're gone. They disappeared.
So there has always been a constant struggle of forced migration and saving your data and moving it from one format to another. I remember when these CDs came out. A lot of us rushed with our VHS cassettes, and we got them converted on our DVDs. CDs and DVDs, and we paid money for that.
Yes.
And now we're just uploading videos on the online platforms. and we don't know. All they have to do is flip a button and shut down the whole platform, and
it's gone. It's
your
gone.
last 30 years gone.
It's
Poof.
gone. Yeah.
So we really need to rethink our strategy in terms of redundancy and resiliency and backups.
Even if you look at electronic books, Muhammad,
Mm-hmm.
like the Kindle, for example, maybe it's not going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
The technology is going to change,
Exactly.
so all that material is going to disappear. But the books that you have on your in your house on the shelf will last forever. They will go for generations. We have books, Muhammad, in our family house that belongs to our great grandfather.
MashaAllah.
They are still preserved, and they are there. So these types of preservation will always last, and it is something sentimental.
Exactly.
When I look at these books, for example, I get the presence of my ancestors. But if you show me a book that is online, I don't really get that feel.
Yeah, the touch and feel.
The
part
touch
of
and
it.
feel.
And in the old books, and I still do that. I attend wherever I can these book expos and book fairs. One of them happens in Muscat every year in February, March, where hundreds, if not thousands, of publishers gather. And I try to find the authors, and I get them to sign the book, and I'll tell them, okay, here's my son or my daughter, can you name it for them?
Yeah.
So you have a more of a sentimental
value.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a huge collection of ebooks, like PDFs and all that. But I do agree that holding a book in your hand and holding a cup of coffee in your hand, it has a total different feel to it. So in terms of impacting people, we'll try to dedicate most of the show to that. We will touch upon environment and society as well, because we are part of both.
Yes.
Technology and human life can't be separated. When we talk about mobile, it's the remote control to our life. Just imagine how many things we are doing on that little device that we used to otherwise do in different ways. And it's changed the way we communicate, the way we learn, and in learn I'm going to add education and entertainment together, because the lines are blurring. Now we're having edutainment to the point that the same thing is not just in the four walls of the academia, but in the corporate world also.
Yes.
Where they're planning to, and they've already started. There's more trainings with AR and VR, like artificial and virtual reality and artificial reality. Okay, so they are trying to give a more immersive and comprehensive experience. So the lines between reality and virtual reality are also blurring. There's some amazing stuff out there. So technology has a feel of this magic to it, and if you look at some of the founding fathers of technology, they've used the word magic.
Subhanallah.
Okay. And depending on how we use it, this technology can have a positive impact on us, it can have a negative impact on us. So we create the world around us. We cannot blame technology. We need to understand how we use it. And granted, they never come to us, can ask us, how do you want your next mobile phone to be? So if my phone's gonna track me, I cannot go to someone and say, hey, make me a phone that's not gonna track me. Okay, so this is the part where the big tech giants, they decide what you will get and when you will get, even though we have this feeling of, okay, I can go out and buy any mobile I want, but really do
or customize the screen,
exactly
my picture at the background.
The bells and whistles you can play with, but when it comes to the basics, I doubt that you can go out and get what you want. So this is one of the things that we need to have the upper hand when it comes to technology, in terms of rules, regulations, and in terms of choices.
I'm really curious to see this year the releases of these new mobiles, Muhammad.
Yeah.
You see a long line, people spending maybe a whole day waiting for the store to open for them to buy the new. So with social distancing, maybe that line will extend from the United States till Oman.
You never know, or maybe they'll make a virtual line on the internet or what. See, actually, even in terms of mobile phone, if you look at the global sales in the last few quarters, it's been lackluster. It's not been like it used to be a few years back, because before there was always something new coming up that had a visible value. like the megapixel on your camera just increased tremendously,
Yeah.
or the storage went up exponentially.
But now only they change the curve a little bit, and then
It's minor
they charge
stuff.
you another 200 riyals for that curve. Yeah.
So minor stuff is coming up, unless there is some radical new shift, as in like 3D or something new, that people will like. Oh, they tried with foldables.
What do you mean, Mohammed? They don't have something new. The box is new.
Yeah, there you go.
So you're getting something new.
Exactly. So the show must go on. That's how they say. So when we take technology one step forward, so this is not something new. What industrialization did to the world, technology is pretty much doing the same, but on a massive scale. Okay, in terms of the environment, we again have to focus on the 3 R's, which is reuse, recycle, and reduce.
Yes.
And this is something the world has been very careless with when it came to technology. In terms of the positive side is we get to monitor and study the environment, and we can come up with enhancements.
So you can use these gadgets to
Exactly.
to do the research work.
Exactly, and even for we've reached a point where artificial intelligence, AI, it can come up with a number of solutions and suggestions and recommendations, and
It makes our life easier.
exactly, and more efficient, more effective, giving us advance notices as to what kind of disasters we're heading towards. So there's a lot of good in it, and we are moving towards developing and producing new materials and technologies which are sustainable. So again, we have to keep in mind, like when we talk about technology or ICT, these are tools basically. These are not destinations, these are travel roads.
Yes.
And what destinations we create with them is up to our creativity and our mindset.
Yes.
If we are trying to use them for good, wonderful. If we are trying to use them for evil, we have plenty of those examples all over the world as well. So one of the positive sides of technology, which we can see in our daily life, including our offices, is going paperless.
Yes.
So before, there used to be printing of almost anything and everything under the sun. Unnecessary printing, people bringing their children's homework and printing them on the office printer. And now basically with digital signatures implemented and all the other facilities enabled, most of the stuff in the office is happening digitally. So there is no printing anywhere. I was surprised this year our medical cards came as PDF.
Subhanallah.
Before they used to print the plastics and distribute,
yes,
and check your name, make sure the spelling is okay, and all that stuff gone in one instant. So this shows us that the ways and means were there, but the motivation was not there. And now because of the pandemic, all of a sudden we're becoming very creative.
Yes.
Okay. And the other side of the thing is, especially in the earlier years, there was not much awareness or focus on conservation of fuel and energy, whether it was V8 vehicles, we used to call them gas guzzlers, or they were mobile phones or what have you. So now there's a lot of work being going on in the interest of being sustainable and environmental friendly. So if one person starts something, it's a good trend. Everybody else tries to follow, even the tech giants. In terms of pollution, we've already touched upon it briefly, that because of the manufacturing, there's a lot of byproducts, undesirable. If they can be recycled in a good way, then it's a win-win situation. The other thing is technology takes a lot of resources. Industrialization was limited. But now when we talk about PCs and tablets and mobile phones and wearables, if there are 5-7 billion of us, or how many we are, everybody wants one, or everybody wants two of these. Yeah. So
and then we change them every 3
months.
Yeah,
we change them every so often, just like our other wearables. We want to change these also. So it's becoming very resource intensive, especially in terms of metals which are used in these. And there we already talked about changing devices, changing mobile phones. Some of them we sell, others we just gift it to our friends. And at the end of the day, somebody what we call the last man standing.
Yes.
So somebody has a model which is like obsolete and it has to be dumped. And this results in what the industry calls techno trash. We often hear and see these pictures about certain countries in Africa where there's like tons of monitors and motherboards broken down and things of that nature.
And unfortunately, this trash doesn't come from the same country.
Yeah, imported.
Yes,
so
they come from other countries and they dump them in the poor countries.
Exactly. So the thing is now there's a lot of recycling going on, and you shared one example where this charity is taking old units and kind of refurbishing them,
yes,
upgrading them, putting the proper basic minimum software on it and giving it to people who otherwise don't have access to the internet. So these are some of the things that we see.
And most of the time, Hamid, you would find out that these equipment, electronic equipment, are not obsolete. They still can be used.
Yes.
But the industry is imposing on us that no, you should get a new gadget,
exactly,
and get rid of your slow. Sometimes even they send updates that make your machines slower.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy. You're forced to buy the next model.
You're forced to buy another one. You're frustrated. Your applications are not working properly. But it's not the fault of the machine. It's the fault of who's messing around with the machine.
Exactly. And again, when we look at these multi-billion-dollar tech giants, a number of times they've been caught with their pants down, but they're larger than life.
Yes.
So they might get a slap on the wrist. They get fined for a few million or few $100 million, and they pay the fine, and they're back to their devices.
Yeah.
So this is some of the things. Another thing with technology is the health hazard associated with it. Again, something a lot of us just ignore. So as it is by default, we are bombarded by multiple rays. There's the TV waves, there's the radio waves, microwave
mobile
communication,
waves,
mobile, satellite, 3G, 4G, what have you.
And plus the heat of Oman.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
It's a full package.
Yeah, full package. There you go. I remember, back in the days when we were students in States, you go to these gas stations and there used to be a sign outside, warning, microwave oven in use inside. So you had a choice.
Whether to go in or not.
Whether you want to go inside and buy something or you just want to pay for the gas and leave. But now with all this radiation coming from all directions, and it's just increasing with new technology, it's virtually impossible to save ourselves from these, except for morning and evening azkar, which we do to request Allah to protect us from these things, which we can't even see.
We should go and live in the mountains of Dhofar.
Well, yeah, that's another option. So, but anywhere your mobile can ring, that's not a safe haven anymore in terms of radiation. So we touched upon the people part, the environment part, and now we'll briefly look at how it's impacting society, technology. So we're trying to have a balanced approach where we're showing the benefits, but most of the world already knows the benefits. They know the benefits more than we do. So we're going to try to look at stuff that needs attention, the aspect which is not positive but negative in nature.
Yes.
And we have to live with it. So the good thing in society is that we're seeing the rise of a lot of smart cities, smart schools, smart offices, smart homes. So it's getting on a grassroots level. Technology is getting more and more embedded in our lives, and it's becoming more seamless. Like we don't even care about the things which are going on. But certain things we should care, like in terms of, and you must have heard then the news on the internet that smart TVs, they monitor you, and they can listen to your conversation and upload that stuff, and then it's evaluated to see your choices and preferences, and then you have these devices, the assistant, the virtual assistants, the VAs that you have in your homes.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I'm not comfortable with it.
Muhammad, if the time comes where the TVs are so smart, they can make out the local dialogues that we speak, then I salute them.
They're getting to that.
But until then, I think it's not easy to even us, when it comes, we in Oman, we have more than 20 or 30 dialogues.
MashaAllah.
So sometimes you go to one region and you don't understand. So if you have a smart TV that can record and analyze what you're saying, then I salute them for that, man.
Well, they're getting pretty good, and the scary part now is the new toys for children. They're putting, see, all these things like real-time language translation and interpretation were a challenge. Yes, they were working on these things for a long time, and we have IVR systems where you dial and you can speak into them, and now we have in our mobiles.
Yeah.
Dear so and so, call Hatim, and they will automatically call.
You know, previously you used to see this college student assignment, which were done through Google Translate, and you know the tutors normally they look at these essays and they say, why doesn't it make sense? You know,
Yeah.
a student will be typing in Arabic, and then Google tries to understand what this dude said.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, these things have become very smarter, and they are getting smarter thanks to, you know, AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So that's where, and I give the analogy that, I'll give you an example. Like, for example, you have a child and you give him 5 books to read. So he and she will have the knowledge and the cross-reference ability of those 5 books. Now you have a computer sitting next to your child, let's say not a robot or a cobot, like a colleague, a cobot.
Yes.
And he has access to 5 million books, and he can read all of them in 5 seconds and interpret them in, I don't know, 5 seconds. So just look at the comparison, right?
You know, this is also freaking us out, Muhammad, because when it comes to technological advancement, the moral and the ethics side should be present and should not disappear.
Yeah.
In one of the leading industries, Muhammad, they're producing human dolls, which can be a companion to you.
Yeah.
They have feelings, they cry, they smile, you can have conversations with them. They have the same texture as the human body or the human skin, and it's just crazy. Some of them get married to them. Yeah. And you know, I don't want to elaborate more, but you get the point.
Yeah, I know. And recently there have been a number of movies on the same topic, full-fledged, you know, full-length movies you can watch, and it's making the masses quite confused as to what's going on. This is a field which is getting quite out of hands, if you want to call it. And in terms of the society, the betterments we see is that, you know, technology has made it possible to take care of agriculture, like it has mechanized agriculture, so we can get better matrices out of what to plant and when to plant, and you know, what are the things that need more attention. Is it temperature? Is it water? So it has given us a lot of power in that regards. It has improved our transportation. In terms of communication, that's in front of us. You're doing it right now. You know, in terms of emails, social networking, now with the pandemic, video conferencing is taking a front seat.
Yes.
It's been around for a long time, but in terms of culture, we never adapted to it. We just felt uncomfortable, somebody looking at us while we are talking to them remotely. So we were used to, okay, phone is for carrying voice. But now things have changed. We're conducting classes and all sorts of activities online.
And we never thought that this is going to happen, Muhammad.
Yeah.
You know, you have Quran classes through mobile phone. You
anything
have
and everything.
Webinars. You have meetings. You have discussions. It's just subhanallah.
You're running governments by doing these meetings. Seriously, I was reading about one of the meetings which they were going to conduct post-corona in the most populous country in the world, and if you read some of those figures, it was shocking. I didn't know video conferencing can accommodate so many thousands of people at the same time. So yeah, it is at our disposal. Even if we look at the way we learn, the way we get entertained, the way we learn, it's changing everything. It's becoming more collaborative. We're having access to knowledge which before we didn't have.
I was talking to a relative recently, and she was telling me that she joined a group for the last 10 days of Ramadan. This group is on Zoom. They have classes at 1:30 after midnight.
Okay.
And she says that the participant in the Zoom room, 5,000.
Wow, amazing.
So just imagine you have 5,000 present attending a lecture after midnight.
Amazing.
It's something that you never thought of,
Yeah,
Muhammad.
yeah.
Subhanallah.
This is really, I mean, in the old days, we hear like you used to travel months to
gain
go to a
knowledge.
scholar,
Mm.
right? And now the scholar is online on your screen. It's just amazing. We never thought it'll change that quick.
But it's going to be a shame, Muhammad, if we don't take advantage of these
Yeah.
technologies
Yeah.
and we use it in evil or
Yeah.
things that will mislead us.
Yeah, yeah. So, and again, it comes to moral and ethics, and how soft your heart is and how much you've worked on your heart. Because again, I want to say that these are all tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they have this magic, factor to them. But at the end of the day, they are tools. And why we call them tools is because the same thing can be used for different things. You
A
can
two-edged
double-edged sword, yeah.
Double-edged
Because
sword.
you can take a knife and you can slice butter with it, and you can take a knife and you can stab someone. It's the same knife, yeah.
Yes.
So here, in terms of healthcare, nobody can deny how much improvement and enhancement it has done, especially in days of pandemic where technology was tested to the max.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of what all can be done. And you mentioned about this manufacturing where they're using 3D to print masks.
Yes.
On an emergency basis.
They even have an application now on an hourly basis or immediate effect.
Mhm.
It shows you how many the cases of corona
Mhm.
in your country, in your city, in your village, how many infected, how many died, how many cured.
Wow.
It even takes you to other worlds.
Mhm.
What are the countries that are leading
Mhm.
in number of cases and so on. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's full of statistics.
Yeah. So in other words, like, we have access now to global knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it can result in wasting of time. For example, if you get online to find some information and then you just get sidetracked, and after 15 minutes you remember again why you went on the internet in the first place. So we have to be careful of analysis paralysis, too much information. The other thing is how authentic is the information.
Yes.
Another thing is how relevant is the information. Whatever is mentioned, is it for that part of the world or is it for your part of the world? And another thing we have to look at it is how old is the information. Like, often this happens, and it happened to us recently, and it was an eye-opener. Somebody picked up a news and he spun it on social media, and then I open it and I put the comment, this is from 5 years before.
Subhanallah.
Just look at the date of the news,
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful and not just pick up any piece of information and start spinning it blindly. In terms of our buying and selling habits, this is a huge field. Technology has given birth to e-commerce, which was very dormant in the early days, but now it's the call of the hour. Okay.
Nobody wants to visit shops anymore, Muhammad.
Exactly, and
even groceries now, they are delivered to
Yes.
your doorstep.
Yes, and it's amazing that I was reading that the biggest online retailer in the world, the CEO is making $11,000 a second
MashaAllah.
after this pandemic, because everything from drinking water up to office stationery and everything in between is being ordered online, and it's global. It's global now, so we can shop anytime, any place, anywhere, which is very dangerous for our pockets if we don't have a good discipline.
Every time you see that bank message
Mhm.
popping up on your mobile, you get a heart attack.
That's one notification we don't want to see.
especially if the card is not in your hands and
Yeah.
someone else's
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah, but I tell you, I mean, like, my father, bless his heart, he still doesn't do online banking.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he's old-fashioned, old school.
So he goes to the branch.
He'll
and
still
he
go to the
stands, in the
branch,
queue,
and he'll sit with the manager and have coffee and
Mashallah.
tell him, I want this, I want that done. And he tells me each time, no, I don't trust online. And I told him, look, it has really improved. There's OTP, one-time password, and I'm doing everything online. Look, I'm sitting in Islamabad and I'm paying my rent in Muscat by doing few clicks.
Yeah.
He's saying that's all fine, but I'm still not gonna do it.
I still miss the coffee from the from the bank.
Yeah, we missed I took a course.
And in that interaction also with people.
Yeah. No, see, unfortunately, we are missing these finer experiences, and we'll get to it, that ourselves, and especially our new generations, they will totally miss that, unfortunately. This is very scary. Like, I remember I took a training course, and the instructor, he told me that he was from a particular Middle Eastern country. He said, in our country, when people get salary, okay, they will go to the ATM machine, they will withdraw the salary, then they will walk inside the branch, go to the window, and then deposit that money in their account.
Subhanallah.
So what I'm saying is technology, but then there is the culture. There is the non-technical side of technology. How do you use it? How much trust do you have? And I'll give you my example. A few years back, if you ask me, not a few years, a few good years back, if you asked me to do shopping online, I would either make an excuse, or I would try okay, what site is it, and can I really
trust them?
Exactly.
Or not?
Now we don't even think about it. We are paying for our traffic fines online, we are buying online, ordering food online. Yeah. So once you start ordering food, that means the other purchases become easy. Generally research tells us that anything between $5
and overall, alhamdulillah, it's still safe so far. It's still safe to shop online, and very few incidents where people lost their money.
Yeah, a lot of this is lost to what they call social engineering, where people trying to trick you or calling you and saying, oh, your account has been locked, your card has been disabled, give me your 4 digits, or stuff like that. And by the way, people still fall for these things, and this is very unfortunate. And it's nice because globally authorities are really trying to curtail this.
Yes.
Because if the online e-commerce presence has to grow, these kind of things must be addressed, by the banks, by the regulatory authorities, and what all the stakeholders are involved. So this is a must, because if consumer confidence is not there, then a lot of people will actually go and stand in lines. So these are some of the things that we have seen technology come this far. What will happen in the future? Again, there's going to be a lot of ethical issues. One you just mentioned. There's going to be a lot of moral issues, legalities, how the laws will be implemented, because now the lines for jurisdiction are diminishing.
Yes.
I can sit here and buy something in another part of the world and send payment from a third part of the world to that. So there's a lot of complexity being injected. So in terms of the physical aspect, when we talk about people, one of the common things we see is that because we are depending a lot on these digital times, if you want to call them, since most of the things are going towards digitalization, including whole corporates, governments, using mobile devices and computers is often bad for our posture, because we were not designed to be static for 5, 6, 8 hours and just get up for either going to the washroom or just going for prayer and then coming back and again sitting down. So this is having a negative impact on us. And the organ which is impacted the most is our eyes. We see even small children, they're getting eyeglasses. It took us a long time to get eyeglasses. Yeah?
Yes.
So that's something that we have.
And even the spine, Muhammad, a lot of back problems and spine problems as well.
Yeah. So there have been there are issues of dry eyes and blurred eyes, headaches, neck and shoulder pains, carpal tunnel syndrome. By the way, most of these I've gone through, and I've taken treatment for these things. It's an inconvenience, but you have to.
Yes.
So some of the things you can do as in terms of preventive maintenance, and God forbid if you do get impacted, as a cure, is that take frequent breaks and stretches. Okay. I was in a training, and the guy who came there, he had something installed on his laptop. So every 10 minutes or so, there used to be a pop-up
for him to move.
Yeah. So take 5. Whatever you're doing, leave. Whether you have to stretch yourself, walk, whether you have to move your eyes back and forth. Okay. Change your posture.
One of the other things that parents can do also for their children, especially the ones that are spending long hours in front of the video games, is remove the chairs. So make them play while they're standing. They will have to move around, and then when they get tired, they don't have a place to sit, they'll switch it off. But if you have a comfortable sofa for them to sit, and this is going to go until the next day they're going to play.
Yeah, I remember we went to a mall in the neighboring country, and they had sofas. So my kids started playing game, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally we had to drag him out of there because you lose track of time.
Yes.
And the other thing is the impact on your sleep or insomnia. So these devices, they impact us in a very serious ways when it comes to our sleeping patterns and sleeping habits. Okay, so the recommendation is that we don't look at a device at least an hour before we are planning to hit the bed.
And actually, even using them, is excessively at night. So that the time where you're supposed to sleep, like as part of the sunnah, is to sleep after Isha.
Yes,
sleep early and get up early.
Yes.
So when you spend the whole night using technology, whether they are screens or TVs or tablets or whatever, then you're depriving your body from that resting time.
Yeah.
And then you end up sleeping very late and getting up very late.
Exactly. And even when you get up in the morning, you will see that you're not attentive. You're half there and you're half gone. So you'll be like a zombie. And unfortunately, our sleep takes a lot of hit because other things, we have to eat, we have to go to the washroom, we have to socialize and all these things. But we have to keep in mind, we only have 24 hours in a day. So when everybody is vying for our attention, our children, our family, our office, our spiritual prayer time, our eating time, okay, and then our screen time.
Yes.
So someone's going to have to lose so screen time can win. So we need to find out where this leakage is. And luckily there are a lot of apps available which you can install on your mobile, and it'll tell you how much time you were watching videos, how much time you were talking, how much time you were doing productive app, how much time you were doing this. It'll break down everything.
MashaAllah.
And then you can see what are the areas of improvement and enhancement. So in terms of the emotional aspect, again, this is something more serious than sleep management, because sleep management, there are ways you can measure it. There are apps, there are alarm clocks.
The smartwatch.
Yeah, smartwatch. So you can do stuff. But in terms of the emotional side of things, the price we're paying is very high, because there's a loss of privacy which is increasing more and more. So there's a tug of war where we're trying to save our rights, and then the big tech giants, they want more and more insight into our life in terms of the our using habits and all this data that they gather, and they sell it and they use it for their own benefit. So whatever services we're getting online, whether it's email or social networks, and we're all happy that they're free, no, they're not. We're paying a huge cost which we don't even realize. And we agree to it. We give them our consent when we register and we make an account. How many of us read the terms and conditions, right? All 17 pages, all 17 pages of it.
None of us. We don't have the time to read.
Exactly. So we're selling ourselves as data to marketers in exchange for these so-called free services. Another thing we have to realize is that technology is becoming more and more addictive. I don't know when they'll classify it as a drug, or if they'll do it or not, but it's getting there. It is there. So what happens there is it leads to behavioral problems.
Yes.
Okay. It leads to less time for play and less time for socializing and more work, or us trying to socialize online. And it's kind of sad that I don't want to talk to the guy sitting next to me, but I'm very happy talking to somebody sitting in another continent. So something is wrong with this picture. Another thing is, and this relates to us being static for long periods of time and then having access to some kind of a snack.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of us become obese. And obesity has been classified as a disease, by the way, now. The dangerous part is a lot of the young kids, they're becoming really fat because their physical movements are almost non-existent. All their education, all their entertainment It's purely behind the screens, and that's where you will find them. Okay. Again, we discussed about the sleep problems, and another thing is getting prone to violence. And before, we used to talk about movies being violent and song lyrics as being vulgar. Take that and 10x it, and you'll get to video games. Yes, they have labeling and, you know, this is PG this and that and all that, but if you look at what kind of sick stuff out there is available that we pay money to buy, and then we waste and sacrifice our time to play those games.
Recently, I was observing my children playing video games, and I got attracted by one of the games. So I asked them, what is this game? What is it about? And they explained to me, they said it's about a person who goes to his neighbor's house and he steals. Oof. So he breaks into the house, and the more you steal, the more points you get, and so on.
Wow.
So, and then I asked them, is this right? And they said, no, but it's just a game. I said, I know it's just a game, but I'm asking you, is this action right? Should you go to your neighbor's house and break in and steal? They said, no, you shouldn't. So I wanted to tackle the matter at the point, you know. That's why it is important for us as parents to always monitor.
Yeah, what our kids
and
are.
sit with our kids and see what are they watching, what are they playing, and discuss with them at that point. So even though they are playing the game, that they should understand that this is wrong and this shouldn't be the case. You know?
See, gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and now with the gamification of trainings and other content delivery in terms of businesses and corporate worlds and even academia, this will further grow. So we will be learning when we are playing games. But unfortunately, I do agree there are some really sick minds out there. One of my friends was telling me, and he's related to the gaming industry, he said there's a game out there that you, I don't know, like if I'm trying to remember correctly, you design a virus and you release a virus and see how many people you can kill with it. And if somebody makes a cure or something, then you lose the game. Okay, so this is the kind of things that we are having in this unregulated territory for the better part of it.
We need to understand, Muhammad, there are a lot of sick people out there, you know, sick minds. They might be intelligent, you know, in creating these games, but they are sick because they have a purpose, they have an agenda, you know, and the victims are our children.
Yeah.
And if we're not very careful, we're going to lose our kids.
Exactly. We have to be super cautious, because these are the same people who brought degradation to the entertainment industry. I mean, just look at the movies from, let's say, 50 years ago and compare them to the movies which are available now. So they are the same one leading the gaming industry with their money and their marketing. So we have to be very careful. Another thing is, all gaming is not bad. There's some real nice games where you get to show your creativity, you do designing, you make things in virtual world. So there is a lot of good we can get out of it. And again, I would like to request, the brothers and sisters to step up their game in this domain and come up with good Islamic content, especially for the children. Like, what you mentioned about stealing neighbor stuff, make something which is opposite of that if you do something good, you get points.
We should not stop the gaming industry, but we should give an alternative with values.
Give it direction. Yeah, exactly.
Let the children enjoy, play, but instill values in them. And this is where our talented young people who are out there, who
they can really shine.
They can shine, because this is a need of the market.
Exactly.
I am yet to see a Muslim family out there who will refuse to buy games from a Muslim industry that has values, that has ethics, that their games are educational. Everybody will want to buy. So the market is there.
Exactly. And when I go online and I look at these videos which are available, we never had these kind of cartoons when we were kids. You know, these animations and all that. There's a lot of good content currently available, and most of it is free. Yes, premium content you have to buy to support their work, but some of the Muslims, especially in the West, they are really leading in this. And I hope with the high internet, you know, fiber connectivity available in this part of the world, internet is the great equalizer. So people hear why they cannot make amazing games, why they cannot generate content in Arabic. Most of the conferences I attend, one of the biggest things I hear is that this part of the world, we are consumers, we're not producers.
Yes.
So there's so much percentage of the world is Arabic speaking, you know, starting from Morocco up to Oman and in between. But why we don't have amazing portals in Arabic, and why don't we have, let's say, top-notch games available in Arabic? So there's a huge gap, and I invite people to fill this gap.
I always give a classical example. We always, watch these Disney animation with our kids because we don't have an alternative. That's the only thing we have. So there was a production from Saudi Arabia, a few talented young men, Saudis, who worked on an animation movie which is called Bilal.
Okay.
The story of Bilal.
Yes.
Muhammad, when I watched that animation movie, it blew up my mind. The amount of quality and values, and the script and the story, and even being an adult, I didn't get bored watching that story. It was sentimental. It touched my feelings. You know, the quality was very good. My kids really enjoyed it. You know. So we do have talents in the Islamic world who can give us an alternative, a replacement to some of the garbage that is there in the market.
See, one part of it, and I often say this to people that I meet who are, I would say, decision makers, that yes, you're giving them incentives, you're providing them platforms like technology zones and, you know, technology free zones and all that, and you're giving them skills and trainings and mentoring, but arrange something very simple where it will protect their IP, intellectual property. Because a lot of guys are like, okay, I'll make a nice game for free, but how I'm going to make money out of it? How I'm going to make a living out of it, right?
Yes.
That is where we need to give them again, it's a non-technical side of technology, but it needs to be addressed, because same boys and girls, when they go to other parts of the world, they do amazing things. But here we are quite far behind when it comes to innovation and inventions and things like that. So we need to provide them a protective platform where we'll tell them, okay, fine, you register this thing, this is yours, you know, your intellectual property is protected, go and start work, do something, and let us know what kind of support you need.
Yes, mashallah.
Okay, so next is in terms of technology getting us to lead an active lifestyle. We touched upon it. So when we talk about screen time, it's not just mobile. This is a misconception. I mean, I look at my family in my home. We have a big screen TV, something is on it, and then we have a laptop going on, and then I have a mobile in my hand. So we are consuming multiple screen times at any given moment. So before we used to have the board games or physical activities with the kids, now it's all virtual screens. So this is something that needs to be addressed. In terms of social media, this is, we all know, we've done number of shows on it. You can probably guide us more on that, and please
social
do.
Social media, man. It's I don't say that it is bad, but the way we are consuming it is not right. We used to be in the past, Muhammad, it's all about us as a community, as people, and so on. But unfortunately, the social media has turned us to be selfish. We only market ourselves, our images, what we eat, what we drink, and it all revolves on our personal lives. Nobody else matters. It's very, very rare you see someone putting on his page a story of someone else, or something that is good, something that he benefited. I'm not saying that is not there. It is there, but the majority it's all about me.
Mhm.
It's all about the selfies. It's all about
Yeah.
the holidays that I go. It's all about the food that I eat. It's all about my ambitions and my aspirations. And
It's peer pressure, you know. You're always comparing yourself with others. You're always trying to show your smiley, happy side, even if you're having a tough day. And you're always in this fear that you don't want to be inadequate compared to your followers or your friends, and you don't want to be left out.
and
you
it
know.
kills the value of humbleness, which is there in our teachings.
We
in
want
our
followers.
religion.
Yeah.
We are taught in our religion to be humble towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Correct.
And to be simple.
Yeah. And keep a low profile.
But social media is making us look for opportunities to be celebrities, to be important peoples. Some of these guys, you don't even get to talk to them. You need to set an appointment. They really believe that they are celebrities, and they are worth something, and they
social
have
media influencers.
They call themselves that. They have 1.2 million followers and so on, but they tend to forget one important aspect, Muhammad. The aspect is every positive thing you do and people follow it, you get a good deed out of that. Every single person who follows you and follows the good things that you say, you get a good deed. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Alhamdulillah.
On the other hand, every stupid thing that you do and every harmful thing that you do and you propagate it and people follow
and imitate
your footsteps, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a very thick account on the day of judgment. And you will be wondering, where did I get all these sins from? So some of them say, this is my private page and I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm not responsible of other people who follow me.
No, you are responsible.
If that is the case, then have your own page, you and your kids and your wife only.
Why you have to show it with the
why
whole
is
world?
It public? Why is it the whole world sees it? So it's not private. I'm sorry, but it's not private anymore.
Exactly. And the dark side of social media is that research tells us that those with high social media usage, they feel more socially isolated. So this is resulting in mental diseases now,
The ironic part is that you see them, some of them, when they fall sick, they are hungry for that attention. They will take pictures they are in the hospital
the drip in their arm,
with the drip, guys, I'm sick and I'm not feeling well. And they are just hungry for the comments, for people to say, oh, Maskeen, you're sick, and how you're feeling, we'll get you flowers. And sometimes they buy their own flowers, and then they take pictures and say, oh, mashallah, my followers has sent me a bouquet of flower and I'm very important.
Artificial life, not just artificial intelligence.
I can go on and on about this until tomorrow, but please just carry on.
No, that's it. We've got a couple of other key points. One is that too much use of technology can harm relationships. It could be between parents and children. It could be between spouses, friends. If you start binging on technology use, other aspects of your life will definitely suffer. And young people, they are losing their ability to interact face to face. So as an example, instead of calling somebody, I'll just send them a message.
Yes.
I cannot come to office today, I'm sick. Okay. Or something like that. So the thing is that this is another negative aspect that we need to handle, and we need to handle it quick. And the other thing we need to look at is that instant access to information makes us less self-sufficient and less educated and less intellectual. What do I mean by that? I have this comfort in the back of my mind that anything that I want is available at my fingertips. So I don't have to read books. I don't have to learn new skills. If I need something done, I'll find somebody. If I need information, I'll find it online. Okay, so this is creating a deficiency in most people. And when we do get online, we get showered by all this information, and we don't even know how to differentiate between authentic and fake information.
Sometimes I get religious questions, Muhammad, through messages, and someone would say, Yahi, I'm very confused. I got more than one opinion about something,
Mhm.
a matter in the religion.
Mhm.
So I asked them this question: where did you get the information from? And they say through Google. I said, okay,
Sheikh Google.
who's the sheikh that wrote that information or referred to that information? And say, we don't know, we just Googled it and we found 10 answers to the same question.
Exactly.
So I said, okay, you need to verify, you need to be very careful where you get your information, especially when matters that are to do with faith, with your life, with your health, just don't Google everything that you can.
Exactly. So anyways, and this brings me to one point that some of the authorities, and I commend them for that they say that in this pandemic, if you start spreading any baseless rumors, we'll fine you and we'll arrest you.
Yes.
So this is the call of the day. And finally, I would like to say, take control of this anytime, anywhere, anything lifestyle before it takes out of control and it starts taking control of you and you don't even know about it because you feel it's normal.
And I like to say at the end that I want you to pretend at least once a month that there is a problem with the telecommunication companies and there is no internet. Just switch off everything and live a simple, normal life with your family and friends and enjoy the moment.
Exactly. Unplug yourself.
With this, we end today's show. Muhammad, thank you very much, and thank you to all our listeners who have been loyal throughout the month of Ramadan. Jazakumullah khair. See you soon. From me, Hatem Al-Abdussalam, and engineer Muhammad Farooq. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.